Hi all, Neto here. I'm just going to give you a brief vocabulary list to kind of support the vaccine ingredient activity that we did so that you guys kind of can categorize what some of the ingredients do in vaccines and have the vocabulary to back you up. There's going to be about 7 vocab words, so make sure that you pause the video as needed to make sure that you get all the definitions down. So again, what is the purpose of vaccines and the ingredients that make them up? So our first word is vaccine, and that's a noun, and it is a liquid substance used to stimulate the production of antibodies and provide immunity against one or several diseases. And so a lot of you are familiar with vaccines because you've all had them. Or most of you have had them, and they can either be inoculation, which is an injection, they can be orally, or they can actually be through the nasal passage where liquid would be squirted up. Vaccines, again, will make a little bit more sense when we go into antibodies and antigens next week, but basically the big idea is that they're used to provide immunity against these diseases. Within vaccines, you have a lot of ingredients, as you guys are able to recall from our activity. And one of the ingredients that we have are preservatives. And that's a noun. And it's a substance or a chemical that is added to products such as food, beverages, drugs, paints, biological samples, cosmetics, wood, and many other products to prevent decomposition by microbial growth or by undesirable chemical changes. An example of this in vaccines is the thimerosal or the phenol. And I show a picture of an apple. Even apples are injected with a certain amount of preservatives. That way they stay fresh and are able to make their passage through trucks into the grocery store. And without them, they will rot a lot faster. Our next word is adjuvants, and that's a noun. And an adjuvant is a chemical added to a vaccine to help increase the body's immune response to the vaccines so that they're more effective and last longer. An example of this in the vaccine is aluminum salts. So I showed a picture of a man holding off all these viruses. And basically, with adjuvants, you're able to get less of the vaccine and you don't have to have it boosted as frequently. And boostering is basically when you get the same vaccine over again to help kind of stimulate your immune response again. Our next word is stabilizer, and that's a noun, stabilizer. And this keeps the vaccine potent during transportation and storage. So it helps kind of make sure the vaccine stays in its form. And examples of a stabilizer in the vaccines that you're seeing are sugars and gelatin. So I use a photo of Jello, and as it keeps its form. So that's the whole point of the stabilizers in your vaccines. Our next word is cell culture materials, and that's a noun as well. And you guys are actually kind of familiar with this because you've actually made your own cultures with agar plates. But cell culture materials are used to grow the vaccine antigens. And so, for example, egg protein, various culture medias are used within our vaccines, and that helps us be able to grow the antigens and then to be able to extract them for making the vaccine. Our next word is inactivating ingredients, and that's a noun as well. And these are used to kill viruses or inactive toxins. For example, formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is used a lot of times to preserve dead bodies. So we'll see that in labs a lot. It's a very toxic chemical in large amounts. But again, it's used to make sure that the vaccine that you guys are receiving or that we give patients is not contaminated with viruses or other toxins. Our last word is antibiotics, and that's a noun as well. And kind of like the inactivating agents, antibiotics are used to prevent contamination by bacteria. So antibiotics only works on bacteria, um, but it want, but the purpose in your vaccines is to make sure that because there is a live culture with the antigens in your vaccine, there is that potential of a growth of bacteria, and so antibiotics are added to make sure that the growth doesn't occur. And you may see this in the vaccine that you research. Example of this would be neomycin. And again, I'll stress that antibiotics only works against bacteria. That concludes our vocabulary list for vaccine ingredients. Make sure that you have a list of these vocab words in your science section of your digital notebook, and feel free to ask, though I think it'll become more clear as we continue on with immunology. Thank you.